Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Deb C. And place to be, it's Deb C. That's me. Boop, Deb C. Hey guys, happy Thursday. I hope everybody is having a wonderful week and a great day so far. It's Thursday, so that means we're going to be talking about sweet lives, secret lives of Mormon wives. We're talking season 2, episode 6. This is the book of redemption. I got some water. Put in the comments what you're drinking if you are drinking a beverage. Let's get it. Okay. So the ladies are going on a girls trip out to Arizona because we know that Macy is co-hosting a celebrity pickleball tournament. So Whitney and Connor, at Whitney and Connor's house, Whitney is like, I'm gonna head over to Jen's because she is supposed to go, the two of them are supposed to go together. However, Jen's been kind of MIA lately, and Whitney's a little worried. Jen says that since finding out that she is pregnant, her depression has been terrible. Like it's very bad. They sit down, they have a talk, and it's so bad that she says that like her and Zach were driving someplace, and just out of the blue, she's like, I wished I wasn't here. Like, meaning I wished I weren't here, I wasn't alive. It's very bad. So Jen decides not to go on the trip. I agree. That's the absolute best thing for her. She has to worry about her health and the health of the baby. So she's not going. I completely understand that. And, you know, Whitney, it seems like she's a little bummed, but she understands. So all the ladies are at the airport. Mom talk, pick up at the airport, and then they land. Okay, the van had to have strippers pole. You knew that. You knew they had to get into some shenanigans. Whitney tells, because the ladies are like, where's Jen? Jen told them that Whitney told them that Jen is pregnant. She didn't say anything else. She just said she's pregnant and she's sick. She didn't say anything about her mental health issues. Jesse immediately is like, well, I think it's because she doesn't want to face any questions from us. If you see that she's pregnant, maybe just put 2 and 2 together and think, well, maybe she's not feeling great. That's what I would think. So my question, what is Demi overcompensating for? Because she's always talking about how like she and Brett are attached at the hip. And so what is like, why is she so like over the top about like her marriage and about everything? She has to be overcompensating for something. So they get to the villa. It's a beautiful villa, but I'm going to tell you, no surprise there that it's a triple P. It's a Poppy product placement. Poppies all over the place. They sent over like these little, fun, dirty sodas that they can make. I'm going to tell you what. If Poppy did a brand deal with me, I would also need to do a brand deal with Pepto, because those kind of prebiotic sodas that have plants, whoever thought to have a carbonated beverage and have some plants in it? Not me. They don't taste good. They never do. I would need, like I said, if it was product placement Poppy for me, I would also need Pepto, another pink one. So the ladies are talking about Jen's pregnancy, and the consensus is that this is a bad time to have a kid, because you're separated from Zach and you don't know what's going to happen in that marriage. Layla calls it a Band-Aid baby. I honestly, I don't think this was planned at all. This was obviously something that was unplanned. Whitney doesn't tell them about the depression, but even if she did, I don't know that I could see a lot of them being super supportive, is what I'm thinking. Okay, so they do dinner. They have dinner, and it's Jesse. And Jesse's like, okay, everybody, we're gonna play a game. The truth box is back. Why do these people, why do these women and the Real Housewives think that you have to immediately have some kind of game where you gotta tell the truth? It never ends well. Okay, so the question to Jesse is, okay, because Jen said what she said about, who's that from? Oh, I saw a text message. Because Jen was like, and your husband rubbed his small wiener up on me. So the question was, is Jordan's wiener, is Jordan's manhood small? Is it really small? She's like, listen, I'm going to tell you ladies no, but I'm also going to show you guys, because she said she gave him a handy. She gave him a handy and then took a picture of it. And it's 8 inches. And she's like, look, everybody's like, I don't want to see it. Layla's like, I don't want to see it. She's like, I'm not showing you. And then she said, but I can see the tip, just the tip. What is it with these people showing their men's junk? I mean, honestly, Aaron did it with Abe, and now Jesse's doing it with Jordan. I'd be pissed if I was Jordan. Okay, to Whitney. Do you actually care about the friendships or just about how the public perceives you? She says, I understand how it looked in the past, but I've been working hard to make it seem like I really do. I mean, I really do. And everybody's like, oh, uh-huh. Everybody's like, ha, ha, ha. Mm-hmm. But for real, though, we know, you don't really care about the friendships. You care about getting back in mom talk. That's what you care about. Let's be for real. Okay, to Demi, the question was, did you know about the confession that some chick slept with Brett while you were out of town? And she's like, we're never apart. We are joined at the hip. We are never apart. But if it did happen, well then, goodbye to you. Goodbye to you. Goodbye to you. She said the truth always comes out. True. The truth always does come out. And then off camera, Demi was like, whoever wrote that was someone who's just not happy with their life. And then they show Taylor afterwards. See, they don't have to say who it is, because then they immediately show the person and you're like, oh, it must have been Taylor. So the question to Jessie, were you really kissing Marciano at Tom Tom? And she immediately is like, listen, that's so stupid. If I were going to cheat, if I were going to cheat with him, why would I do it in public? And people were like, oh. Like, not like, yeah, that makes sense, but they're like, oh. She said, listen, we all went out afterwards, so maybe people thought that I was Demi. Like, because we really look like each other. They probably got us mixed up. Okay, another question to Demi. Are you worried that Demi was willing to take a bigger contract if it meant you would be off the show? Once again, are you worried that Demi was willing to take a bigger contract if it meant you would be off the show? That's a friend. That's a real friend right there. So apparently, like, Demi and Jesse had a falling out. It was over money. Specifically, Demi was willing to kick her bestie, Jesse, off the show to get her bigger contract. And Demi, listen, between Taylor and I think it was Macy, they were telling everything. Demi gets into this separate chat on Mom Talk with Mom Talk and says, hey, let's push Jesse out. Do I believe that? Yeah, I believe that. And does Jesse? Yeah. And then Demi says, off camera. She says, well, Jesse sits on a hair empire, so how is this fair? So you're willing to throw your best friend off the show just because she was able to build a business on her own. That's called jealousy right there. And then the question is, so what does Demi have on? What does Demi have on Jesse? I don't know. And then to Whitney, the question is, do you still not regret going to Macy's baby mama event? And she does not regret it. She does not regret it. She does not regret it because she says if it didn't happen, then I wouldn't have grown. Oh, get the fuck out of town. That's lame. That is lame. And then later she's like, what did you want me to say? I wanted you to say you regret it. That's what I wanted you to hear. That's what I wanted to hear, that you regret that, because that was shitty, that you didn't show up for me. So Whitney, a little bit later on, Whitney talks to Macy about the question. I think it was the next morning. Talks to Whitney about the truth box question. Because Whitney's actually surprised by Macy's reaction. I don't understand why you would be, like, if your friend hurts you, you hurt your friend. Because Macy really wanted Whitney there. And she didn't show up because none of the girls were talking to her. Okay, well, and none of the other girls wanted her there. But Macy wanted her there. And that was her event. And that meant a lot to her. And then she didn't show up. And now she's saying that she doesn't even regret not showing up. How could Whitney even be surprised at that? It doesn't make any sense. So Whitney says, like I said, well, I didn't show up because nobody else wanted me there. And Macy was like, but I wanted you there. It was my night. I invited you and you didn't show up. She's like, well, I was in a terrible place. Macy's like, listen, there have been times when I've been in an absolute terrible place and I have shown up for my friends. That's no excuse. And so then Whitney's like, well, can you not move past this? Is it impossible for you to move past this because of what Michaela's telling you? Is Michaela in your ear? Meanwhile, Michaela's like right there. She's like listening into everything, just like I would be. Macy, you know what? And Macy's like, no, I think for myself and I can pick and choose who my friends are. So then Whitney pulls out the crying and she's just crying and she's starting to cry. So she pulls out the crying card and then everything is okay. She's like, just stop crying. It's okay. And everything's fine. But then later, Michaela's sitting at the table. Michaela's like, hey, I heard you talking shit about me behind my back. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, I was listening to you. And she's like, she's tired of Whitney. She's tired of Whitney not taking accountability and just saying, well, it's because of how I was feeling. And oh, well, like, it's because of how I was feeling. And oh, well, I guess I know I hurt you, but I wasn't feeling great. Oh, well, at least this helped me grow. That's so stupid. And then Whitney's like, I want to take accountability. So what WTF did I do to y'all, to all of you? And Michaela's just like, listen, nobody wants to be friends with you. You can't sit with us. So that was that. There's a lot of yelling. There's a lot of yelling going on. So Whitney's willing to have a discussion with, like, an individual discussion with each woman about how she hurt them. Like, what did I do to hurt you? But the women are just holding on to, like, what happened in the past. She says that the ladies aren't hearing I'm sorry or I regret. The ladies really aren't hearing I'm sorry or that I regret what I did. And if she does say I'm sorry, I feel like the ladies are like, either not buying that it's genuine, or they're like, so it's like either your team Michaela or your team Whitney. And because of everything that Whitney did in the past, I mean, Whitney is the one that removed herself from the group, and she is the one who, you know, who took herself out of it. Michaela's hurt is really deep because her closest friend, she was closest friends with Whitney. So when Whitney kind of iced her out when she was having all of those problems with her health, with her chronic disease, and it was getting bad, and then it just felt like she was being iced out by everybody, and that was being done by Whitney. Whitney, I guess, was spearheading that. And I'm just gonna say, Miranda hasn't added like a ton to this season. They could have not had her in, and it would have been just fine. I mean, I thought she was gonna bring a lot of drama, but she really hasn't. But Miranda's like, if this is this supposed to be women supporting women? Because that's what she said. She's like, unfortunately, I guess this is women supporting women. And unfortunately, that's what it looks like mom talk is now. And this doesn't look like women supporting women. So back in Utah, Zach's taking care of the kids because Jen is really not doing well, like at all. She is suffering from prenatal depression, and so she's deciding to take a step back from mom talk. And then at the end, they put a message out saying, out of respect for Jen's privacy, we're not filming any more of the season so she can get help with her mental health issues or whatever. Listen, I love this. And I also want to say Bravo would never. And that's a damn shame, because when there's an issue, if you watch Bravo, you know, when there's an issue, they will pick the cameras up and start filming again. Case in point, Scandival. Everything was done, and then Scandival, and then they started filming again. Probably to the detriment of some of the cast members' mental health. I mean, so I love that they did this. I love that they stepped back and they gave her time, because they realized, hey, your health, the baby's health, your mental health, it's much more important that you survive than you shoot footage for this show, because it's just a show. Okay, so in Arizona, they're at the pickleball tournament. She co-hosted with Joey Fatone. I'm gonna tell you, listen, if you're going, were you more a fan of NSYNC or Backstreet Boys? I was more a fan of NSYNC. My favorite was Justin. I'm not anymore. My favorite was Justin. My second favorite was Joey Fatone. I still like Joey Fatone. Joey Fatone's everywhere. Joey Fatone will go to the opening of an envelope. But she played, but this makes sense. I didn't know why they asked her to do this, but she did play tennis at BYU. So she had been an athlete most of her life. So it makes sense. So they did that, and then they went to dinner. There was talk about the Demi and Jesse drama. Because, and Whitney brought this up, because she wants to just deflect away from her. So Taylor comes out and she says to Demi, she says, I heard that you think you deserve the biggest brand deals. She's like, I didn't know. I didn't. And then Jesse was like, yeah, I heard that too. And Whitney was like, I heard it also. And Demi was like, well, is it a surprise? She said something like, is it really a surprise? I was a fan favorite. And then off camera, Taylor was like, know why she's saying she's a fan favorite? She wasn't even going to be, at first when this was, I guess when this whole show was being cast, she wasn't even going to be cast, Demi, at first. She wasn't even going to be cast. So all of a sudden she goes from almost not being cast to a fan favorite. I'm going to tell you this much. She was not my fan favorite. She wasn't this fan's favorite. My favorite from first season was probably Taylor. And Taylor's probably my favorite right now. Taylor's the only one listen, voting aside, because some information came out about who voted for who. Voting aside, Taylor's the one who takes full accountability. Like, even if she fucked up, she'll be like, I fucked up. And my next favorite would probably be Macy. Yeah. Okay. And listen, if it wasn't for Taylor, none of these women would be famous. So, all hail the queen. Taylor says the fame, the money, it's getting to her head. It's getting to Demi's head. And listen, you're not wrong, Taylor, because like I said, without Taylor, none of them would be there. And honestly, none of them would be there because for two reasons. Number one, Taylor started Mom Talk. Number two, Taylor, even though the scandal did not do wonders for Taylor's mental health, if there was not that swinging scandal, you kind of wonder, would there really even have been a Hulu series? I'm just saying. So without Taylor, this really probably wouldn't have even happened at all, if you think about it. So then Taylor to Demi, she said, you don't share your life, not all of it. You only share certain parts. Whereas Taylor shares it all, the good, the bad, the ugly, the criminal. She shares all of it. And here's the thing, Demi was willing to knock out Jessie, her best friend, off the show because they were in a bad place. So that's her best friend. And she's willing to knock her off. So what then is going to stop her from doing that to anyone else? And she would, because she was going to do that to her best friend. And she says, I wouldn't kick Taylor. I wouldn't kick you off. That's bullshit. I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. But Demi's saying, oh, I wouldn't kick you off. Jessie hears that, and of course it hurts her, because to her, that's Demi saying that Jessie's expendable, which absolutely would hurt. And Demi, the question for Demi, are you really not craving the spotlight? She is craving the spotlight. She's craving the money. She wants to be Queen Bee. So here's one of the things though that Demi does come clean about, and she does talk about, is her infertility struggle. She didn't talk about it a lot, but she's been struggling with infertility. Brett's dwindling sperm because he is older than her, and Demi does have endometriosis. So they do talk about that. All the ladies are going to the club. Jessie and Taylor, they don't go to the club. They go back to the villa, and they're talking, and they're like, listen, ego and friendship, ego and jealousy, those can really get in the way of some friendships, and it's getting in the way of some friendships right now. And Jessie asks about Demi, and she says Taylor definitely has some a lot of competitiveness and jealousy. And I can see that. I absolutely 100% can see that. So the ladies come back and they're going to go skinny dipping because some ladies got boob jobs. Some ladies got breast augmentation. So the ladies are going to go skinny dipping, and that includes Demi. Demi was like, yeah, I'm going to go skinny dipping. She calls Brett, and she's talking to him. She says, we're going to go skinny dipping. He's like, is it on camera? She's like, yeah. And he's like, then you're not. You're absolutely not going to do that. I'll be pissed. They're going to blur it out. And so then eventually she's like, I'm sorry. No, I can't. Brett doesn't want me to. I can't do that. I'm a trad wife now. I can't. Even though I was showing off she was probably showing off the girls and her hoo-ha in the van. But listen, isn't she the one she's the one who gives people shit whenever other women are controlled by their spouses? Like last season, she gave shit to Jen because Zach was controlling her. But now, oh, it's different? Okay. So Taylor, the question from Taylor is, what are Demi's intentions? Demi's intentions? Well, that is, in my mind, it's to get Taylor out and for her to be the queen bee of mom talk. That's exactly what her intentions are. So listen, in the comments, let me know if you watched, and if nobody told you yet today, you were loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there in the world so it comes right back at you. Also, please treat each other the way that you would want to be treated. Also, be aware of your surroundings, be smart and safe. Let's hydrate with some water. And if you're in a dangerous situation, know that Dolly and I are sending our love, thoughts, prayers, and all the positive energy your way so that you can make it through. Love you guys, and I won't see you tomorrow, but I will see you. I will definitely see you on Saturday. Maybe tomorrow, but definitely Saturday. Okay, love you guys. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.